Should an inheritance to someone be left outright or in a trust? Well, it depends. If you leave your inheritance outright to somebody, they have full control of it. They can use the money, and maybe they're responsible, and maybe you have no worries about just leaving it outright. And frankly, it is far simpler to leave an inheritance outright to somebody. For example, you can just direct your bank account pays on death to whomever you want to receive that money. On the other hand, if you leave it outright to somebody, then there are risks associated with that. For example, if whomever you're leaving it to might not manage their money well, or they might be in a situation where a divorcing spouse could get it, or perhaps they shouldn't receive it outright. Why shouldn't they receive it outright? Well, maybe they're receiving government benefits. You do not want to leave an outright inheritance to somebody who is on government needs-based benefits, because they'll lose their benefits then. Or what if that person that you're leaving the inheritance to, it could even be your spouse, what if they're going to be facing long-term care costs? Then you might not want to leave it outright. Or what if you want to make sure that the money that you leave to somebody will ultimately go down to, for example, your children and grandchildren? Well, then you would not want to leave the inheritance outright, because you have no assurance, no guarantees that the money will go where you ultimately wanted it to go. So in those situations, it does make sense to leave your money to a trust as opposed to outright for that beneficiary. The reason for that is that the terms of the trust will control that money. And that means that once the beneficiary of the trust is deceased, then the money that you left for them, whatever is left now, will go ultimately where you want it to go. And more than that, it has been protected, so it has not been spent down on long-term care costs unnecessarily. It's not subject to taxes. It's not subject to creditors. There's a lot of benefits that come from leaving an inheritance to a trust for someone.